Hello, Internet. Welcome to ChEffect.
Hello, Internet.
ChEffect, our local first meal planning app written with Effect and LiveStore. Think that last time we met up, we were working on some more of the LiveStore integration into the UI and just working on a few things. And we had mentioned at the end of last stream that we wanted to do a better integration between LiveStore and Effect RX, which is like a reactive state management library for effects to be used on the front end. And I think Tim did a bit of work off stream to that end over the last week. So maybe we can start with that.
Yes. It was something I was figuring out to do was like integrating because we're using AI to extract the recipes, and we hadn't quite hooked it up to LiveStore yet.
Right.
And maybe let's do server running. We need to get an icon so that warning goes away.
So I gotta start pestering Midella.
I just ran dates.
Everything is broken.
Yeah, yes. Which is the optimized step surgery. Let's just reset.
I feel like sometimes when this happens with Vite, I just delete the .beat directory and the no modules.
Yeah.
But I like the nuclear option better.
Yeah. Just to be sure. Feed in dips.
All right.
Chili. You. Well, it's loading.
The easiest chocolate birthday cake.
Div tool. We've got website. We can div server. Okay. The one thing I want to do today is migrate your shit RX LiveStore.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about how you integrated the two as well. I think that would be kind of interesting to look at.
Currently with like the recommended approach to React Web, LiveStore, you just do like kind of like the provider pattern where you have LiveStore gives you this LiveStore provider thing, and then you pass in a bunch of props and you just add it to your component tree. But the problem there is it kind of like renders this like loading screen until the store is completely ready. And I didn't like the loading screen. So I wanted to try and move it into RX so we can like optimistically load the UI while the store is loading in the background. So the first thing I tried was putting it in an effect service. So LiveStore kind of like exports this create store thing, which returns an effect, funnily enough, which is great for us. So I just wrapped it in an effect service and created like an RX runtime. I'm not sure if I've covered RX runtime, but it allows you to turn an effect layer into like a runtime thing that you can then use to create RXs that can access the services in those layers. It's like if you had a bunch of services in your front-end app, you can stuff them in an RX runtime and then use them nicely. So I go to app now.
That's kind of like a way of bringing the service pattern to like the front end through RX, right?
Yeah. So instead of doing a LiveStore provider, here I'm just mounting like that load store RX, which just kind of like builds the store in the background. If I go back here, load store RX just builds the store and then sets like this is kind of like an unsafe RX, whereas its default's undefined, but I just do it as store service. And then once the store is loaded, it like sets this so we can like access it synchronously later on. And then I built like a couple of RXs that wrap queries. So just a step through it. You pass in a query, and then in the RX it accesses this current store. And this is the store API to like get result from a query, so we can see like the generic goes A.
And just to interrupt you for a second, Tim, the get method here. So first, maybe we could talk about like the readable RX. This creates an RX that only can be read from, can't be written to.
Yeah, you can also just use RX. It's the exact same thing, but what RX is, if you pass in a function, you get access to this RX.context, and it has like a bunch of methods on it. Look at interface here. And it gives you like this, basically a toolkit for interacting with other RXs or like registering finalizers. So RX is, compared to a lot of state management solutions in React, has kind of powerful lifecycle management thing. And when working with effects, you kind of like need good lifecycle management because we have things like scopes and streams and things like that.
So in the example you were showing before on the app side with like integrating LiveStore here, so you create a readable RX and you give it a function that gets us access to the context, and then you get the LiveStore RX, which basically I'm assuming reaches into that RX and gets that value from whatever place the things are stored. Yeah. And does this also make
like just a normal get call like this? It kind of like makes it reactive. So if the store changes, this will re-render. But then there's also get.one, so that will get it one time only and not track reactively. So if that changes, it won't re-render. But here we kind of want to track the store dependency.
So anytime the store changes, the whole like readable RX would update itself.
Yeah. So this, we step through it here where we could kind of move that actually. Down here. We'll move the comment too. So first we do store.subscribe, and that returns like a cancel function. And it's just a function that returns void.
Mm-hmm.
So we set up the subscription. So whenever the query updates, we kind of update ourselves. So get.set itself allows you to set the value for the current readable or current RX. So every time the query gets a new value, we update ourselves. And then we register that finalizer. So when this gets cleaned up, it will cancel the subscription. And then we return like the initial value of the query. So we get the initial value of the query, and then if the subscription returns a new value, then we update. So then if this store thing gets updated, then this finalizer will run, and then it will start again, essentially.
Interesting. Cool.
And
Dami R asks, what are we cooking? Is this already on GitHub? So we're building a local first meal tracking management application thingy that we're calling ChEffect. And we're using it as a way to experiment with Effect on the front end with LiveStore, which is a local first sync engine. And we're also using it to experiment with integrating LiveStore with Effect RX, which is another library Tim's been working on. So basically just like a big experiment for us to do something fun on the front end. And I think Tim is, I don't know if the Riverside chat goes to everybody, but I will link this in my Twitch as well.
Yeah, and then I made a safe version of the query RX that will so this unsafe one is assumes that the store is already loaded. But if the store hasn't loaded yet, then this one returns a result which represents like an ACE operation. So it kind of like maps over the store result, which might not have loaded yet. And then once it's loaded, then it does the query. So pretty much the same as before, but it kind of like reverses the result. And then there's like this commit one, which allows you to commit events to the store. And I could get it to type properly. So you just pass events from your schema.
Cool.
But you notice when I refresh, the UI immediately loads, and then while the store is loading, it's just loading the recipes, and then we can make it look nicer later. So we could do have a skeleton or something that pulses level 10.
Nice.
And if I go to the index route, I feel like cleaned this up a little bit. So I added some of the the nav bar and the footer into the root route, and then this outlet here is where the current page goes. So at some point we all need to hook up the navigation properly. There's the tab bar is in sync with the URL. And then so for the queries, we're using the new RXs we defined to wrap the queries into RXs. And these are currently returning results because these are waiting for the store to load first. But if we were to use unsafe, then it would return the recipes directly. But then you have to make the assumption that the store is already loaded, we need to use.
Makes sense.
After going through all that, I want to switch to the package mode. Let's go. And what this does is kind of like it wraps up all that stuff for you.
It's cool.
So here we could go export. But when you actually calls actually yours RX LiveStore. Right. And then here you can pass in your options. And then you pass in your store options. So if we go there, what else is it returned? It returns runtime. And now we need to use it. So we go to queries. Issues there. So here we just want to the runtime.
So Dami asks, can you merge runtimes or would you have multiple?
You have lots of runtimes. So ideally you would have an RX runtime just for the services you need in that part of your app. And what that means is if you want to test the components, you only need to inject those services.
Yeah, so if I recall correctly, you had mentioned in the past that the RX runtime will it will memoize services so that you still get the like layer deduplication, right?
Yeah, so you have the RX runtime with layer A, and then another part of your app uses like maybe dot part layer dot provide layer A. Layer A will not get rebuilt; it will be shared. Because RX.runtime shares kind of like what we call a memo map, which means, a layer is not rebuilt across RX runtimes, which is useful.
I guess the answer to your question, Dami, is like, do you merge runtimes? Not necessarily. You merge like the services that you need for parts of your app into a runtime, and then you can use that runtime to create RXs, I guess.
Yeah, so you just use normal effect layer composition. So that layer.provide and all that kind of stuff. And then RX.runtime just kind of like takes over from there. Cool. So we're getting errors somewhere. It doesn't have us all correct. Oh, it's all. So we just need to compare. So we can just go compare to say image. I guess the other way of doing this would be So we've just got rename to store RX and stuff. I guess we could type that as store or unknown, so you'd have to like explicitly cast it or use the null thing. This one. Use let's make a quick call use to it. So this will just be like a convenient way of getting access to the function. User search. So I did make some changes to the AI stuff, just because I realized it was completely hallucinating the recipe. So instead of sending a URL to the model, it sends the HTML of the recipe instead. Okay. And to do that, I first added a cause proxy, because obviously we're in a browser here, and you can't just fetch any web page because of good old cause. So there's like this free service for getting the content of any web page using a browser. So you pass a URL, it will send it to the proxy and get back the HTML using HTTP client. And it's this really basic line. A retry. And then I'm using Cheerio to like strip out all the elements that we don't need to keep like the context quite small, as small as possible. So it strips out JavaScript and CSS and all that kind of stuff. So we get back like the stripped HTML that we can then send off to the AI model. The recipe from URL gets the model, gets the HTML, and then just says extract a recipe from the provided HTML, and then passes our schema along. And then I'm just logging it so we can look at it in the console, and then returns.
Cool. And
so maybe
how did you wire this into the UI?
So in the recipes, we have add recipe button. Yes. So we have a runtime that accesses the AI helpers. So here's our AI helpers here. Now we get the current LiveStore. Well, first we extract the recipe from the URL. So that here we have our extracted recipe. And then we get access to LiveStore, and then we send a recipe created event. And then this as recipe turns an extracted recipe into like a domain model. So it's an ID and sets the timestamps.
Cool.
And then if we go to this event here, it materializes. It's just like a real simple insert. Then we get a recipe in our database.
Nice. Can we test the
did we do this on stream?
no.
Not sure about search state. LiveStore has client documents, which are kind of like documents that are synced about a just for local state. So here, search state, we have a query. And then you set like a default value. And then if we go to queries, we can then access that search state. So when defining a LiveStore query, you get this like get function, which allows you to get another query inside of a query. So here we're getting like the current search query that they've typed in, and we're just trimming it. And if it's empty, then we just return all the recipes. And then at some point we can add like sort options and that kind of stuff here. But if they have provided like a query, then we just add like a search using SQL like. And this is reactive, so if you type in the query like then that automatically updates.
Nice.
And then when it comes to the UI part of that, search input. What is that? So I'm using search state RX, which turns the result because the store might not have loaded yet. And it just makes sure like defaults to an empty string. And then we get access to our commit function. And then every time like the search query update, we send a search date set event. So whenever you type an input, it then updates the search state through LiveStore, and which also then updates the value with the whole state cycle. And then that will then update this, which is a list of all the recipes.
Very cool. Can we test out like extracting another recipe?
Yes, do it. What do you feel like?
I'm having pasta today. My wife is making delicious like pasta with like zucchini. It's like a summer pasta. So maybe look up like a summer pasta recipe.
Zucchini
Spaghetti
pasta.
alla Milano.
I don't know. Let's spell that.
It was the first one that the Stanley Tucci one that came up.
That one?
Yeah.
So I'll grab the URL page. So we're going to do here. So we can see here that we grabbed the HTML. And there it is.
You know, that works a lot better than it did before.
And then if we look at the console, here's our extracted recipe. So just one ingredients component. There's ingredients. We go to jump to recipe. Sunflower oil, green zucchini. I got the unit role. Or out is it's right on the oil salt as it leaves. We do need to somehow address the unit.
Well, maybe a cool thing. Maybe a cool thing to do now, since like if the extraction does something wrong, maybe a cool thing to add now would be the ability to like edit recipes. So maybe we could use V0 to come up with like a UI for our recipe, and then like the individual recipes, and then like come up with a edit something.
Yeah.
But this looks really cool. Yeah, I like the I like RX as a way to integrate effect on the front end. I feel like it's really nice. I've heard from about 10 different people that it needs to be renamed as a library, but the like experience of working with it seems really nice. And I think it'll be really cool to integrate it with 4.0. Like the bundle size and speed improvements that come with 4.0 will be really interesting to see, like all of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we need to cut up a bit of UI for the list as well. Like these are just too chunky, and there's like white space issues. But we also need a form. ChEffect. I'm not really a V0 pro, so I'm not sure. Guess the processes.
I don't know either, but let's just assume that we can tell it to add more things.
Version 3. Okay. So we need the can condense.
Maybe tell it to make like it more make it more information dense.
I think information there is alright. We just want to condense the URL. Hidden. In a semi-good stream. Also, the array images. Green. Yeah, I guess the other thing is I've lost it. We need the form, clean this up. Wonder what the flow for that should be. So I guess sometimes you might want to enter a recipe without a URL.
Yeah, one should be like, we should have the create button should probably have like two separate things, either being able to like have AI generate one from a link, or have
like a drop down or something.
Yeah.
chance and we want to look at the drop-down like a menu.
I think they have both.
Navigation menu,
There's a drop down menu on the left there.
drop-down menu, navigation menu. Kind of. Yeah, drop-down menu. Let's go menu for now. It's true. There is still heading around. Yes. Images would be schloss. So, add recipe button. We turn this into a drop down. This work. We have a menu, a trigger, and some content. That's close. I don't even. Okay, perfect. Again, the list. I guess I would both have the same. Yeah, this week. And then we would have the drop down here.
Then we're starting to name things like ChatGPT.
Yeah, I think that's much cleaner. Looks good. Better give it some credit. Yeah, it's still. The new trigger. So here we would have our head recipe. Maybe we can just call that head recipe. What the heck are you?
I think there's like margin or padding between the list elements.
I think what it's doing is using like a fixed height for the image and not the content. So
We
maybe
can
if they
adjust
just
it.
make the image larger. I think the entire list needs some kind of border. Why? Order to see my bit. Please, yeah, please.
Now we have 2 more uses of that model today.
That's a shame. Drop down menu content. And then if we do some copy pasting, I think we can start there. And then we'll fix its mistakes. So what is... That's a label. We kind of just need two items. Quite from well, we'll just screw it here. And then we would, well, now, yeah, we'll move the on click to the menu items.
Are we missing something from the docs that we didn't have?
Let me do it. Jump to menu. It's not going to turn.
Someone in our chat is saying, "Oh no, Vim mouse user detected."
I don't see any like explicit event handlers here.
We shouldn't need them, yeah. Is V like giving us problems, or are we getting a build error on the terminal? Or? No.
Maybe we'll just have a quick. No. Looks good. Failed to reload. We need, let's quickly edge point to personal.
There's something about importing non-existent modules. Do you have the path alias set up correctly? for adding?
Well,
I'm
my
assuming.
update worked because it's gone to cursor pointer. We'll just have a look at the component tree. Yeah, it's a component. I have a feeling I need to like do a forward ref or something. I forget how you do that. Forward ref. Forward ref. Forward ref. Fast ref is a problem. Instead.
Are we using React 19?
Yeah. So you put a ref property in. It's really annoying that they don't have TypeScript by default in examples. I feel like most people are using TypeScript these days. Refs. And then we just pass it.
Can you remove the as child thing?
We'll just put it directly in here and see.
And I don't think we need the refs. But
Yeah. Maybe they haven't migrated to Canteen refs yet.
are we even using the property though that we want here? I don't think we're even using the small prop.
Yeah, we
need
are.
to do this. We are.
And then the ref is the second.
Can you remove as child before you do anything else? Yeah, just remove as child. I think with as child, it has to be like the direct descendant or something. I don't know.
Right. That scroll button is fine. Why is it removing the scroll button? Scroll? Does it say anything about scroll?
Maybe there's a class on the.
I'm guessing it like is adding some kind of overlay. When set to true, interaction with outside elements will be disabled, depending on how many screen readers. Maybe we can try doing that off. Let's I'm still using the old button somewhere. No result. Hello. And then
Cool.
here we can do cursive pointers. Cool. So we need to edit to the buttons themselves. That's better. And then I'm guessing we can just add one click here. I don't I don't you want to come up with a nice UI for it.
Yeah. I think a prompt is fine for now.
And then here we would end it off. So, recipe equals use RX. Then we need create recipe RX. And then we can just for now. I guess I probably should like navigate to the form and then just like show loading state there. And then once it's finished, pre-fill it.
Yeah, I think that would be like a good next iteration of this is like once we have the form UI, just pre-fill it with stuff. Maybe we can use one of our last V0 generations for the day to
get a form.
Here it is a form.
Here, let's just copy the list here. Then we go to our index route, and then if we pull this list, loading recipes, the results. And then maybe here we can have search input. And we have function recipe list here. And copy paste that. Just focus recipe, instant results. Recipe and recipes. I guess this will be on the recipe cache. Yeah. We just need to plug in our content copy. So here, image. We don't need a difficulty badge. What do we do for time? Okay. 0. Yes. And then in our recipe list, we change that to a recipe code. And then we're going to say difference areas. We're not really doing tags yet. Currently writing is null, actually null. So rest data rating. CTB.
You still have a few issues, but maybe just imports.
The content is vintage. I feel like the text is slightly too big. So if we that's the centering verse. Um, Flex item center. What is users? Those are the things
I
at
think
the
that's just,
bottom.
yeah, it's just the icon. So I think it's that whole
So
section.
here's the recipe. Here. So here we just need to go. That's the title. We use flip column here. And then,
I think you have to say
up
like
here we need to go flips. Was it items? What was here? Which one is this? So item center here. I feel like there's some padding missing. Here's some margin at the bottom. Here's split. Then the title feels to be in the strange small. Display. But now this font is too.
Did we make it like text small instead? What was it before? Medium?
Was already small.
No, I don't feel like that's too bad. Looks pretty good. I have bad eyes though, so.
I feel it's because it's overriding it here as well. Can servings be null? Yeah. Recipe dot servings. Null. And then we just set to 10 pixels. It is. Feels a bit more balanced. If you have an inspector, we turn on the old responsive mode. Well, we go for FNSE. It's too small now. Roll that. Let's kick off this one. Do we need to like orc it? Because we're not really working on the home screen.
No, I think you can literally just tell it now generate a blah blah blah.
No, we need for adding new recipes. I guess if we give it a schema to work with,
Sure.
then it might be more of a recipe, domain recipe. We don't need ID in the form. Oh, no, we don't want the fully decoded type because we're using JSON from string here. Maybe from now on, just turn it off. Recipe type. Okay, don't need timestamps. Writing, yes, steps, yes, agree. The rest is good. Yes. Recipe to
I think there's also a button. I think there's also a button after you finish writing this prompt that allows you to like use AI to make your prompt better. I think that's Sparkle button. You wanted to do that.
Got two uses. Copy paste that to this.
Yes.
Title, text input for the recipe title to material.
You can probably use that and then just put the schema back in.
So, recipe is in it.
See what happens.
So they got rid of all the new lines. Well, that's going.
You might have to
do that. Yeah, I need to re-add the JSON strings. So.
Yeah.
We also need to add like a details page so when you get a recipe, you can actually read it.
Yeah, I just figured the create recipe page would give us more like business logic to be able to work with.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of fighting with like the UI.
Maybe we can work on the routes. This. Where do I see the form?
Okay. You're clicking the plus button.
Nope.
So where?
H.
Can you navigate in the URL bar to like add recipe?
Add recipe. Add recipe.
It's a cute little form.
This kid. Definitely has its issues. But it's just
It is a start.
It's we have one new slave. Perfect. We can sort this.
I think so.
We need label selected text area. They've already got label. And grab this code.
Yeah. The little copy button in the upper right hand corner if you want to.
I'm going to send me a quick read of it.
I literally can't read it without syntax highlighting.
Maybe Slack and reading per internal no modules.
Yeah, exactly.
Text area.
I think after we get this rendering in the UI, we might have to save the business logic for next time. It's a little late here.
Recipes on
Maybe TypeScript is just like,
yeah. Let me just save label. The recipe time. If I go to recipe view on direction. Recipe done. Maybe JSON correct. Done.
it's pretty close. Oh, it's gonna have stuff on it we don't want though, like the timestamps.
ID. It just says deleted it.
If you
If
think
we go up here and just go model dot generated by and then do the same. ID. So we're looking at kind of now. No timestamp. What's the time?
No, I think we do want the encoded version, like you said.
Recipe. Dot JSON create encoding.
Oh. They're really just happy with everything?
Units. What do we do for units? Debugging recipe. Yeah. Literal. Images.
I think it's literals. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we need a page or something that renders to the outlet, I guess.
Yeah, so we go to our and just have we just clean up imports. Yeah. And we put ChEffect.
I think you had it in a different window.
Oh, yeah, I didn't pull it out. Here it is. It's
Cool.
still.
It's definitely a start.
If it is a lot of cleanup. Okay, where's that file to start with?
You are probably going to want to have a way to go back to the other screen, though.
There's lots of things that needs to change.
All right, well, let's update our to-dos, because I feel like we did some stuff. I think the LiveStore RX integration is pretty good, and the recipe list page is done, but the individual details need to be worked out still.
We need to make full list, and then we need to
Navigation.
Edge button tier one.
Yeah, and maybe have the AI helper pre-fill the form as well.
Show loading state. free form when extracted. And then on 7 to first of all.
Cool. This looks great, Tim. And really nice work with the LiveStore integration that you just came up with. It looks really nice.
Thank you. The
Whip. Good old whip.
close.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us for our stream tonight. Hope you all enjoyed it. And we will see you folks next time where we continue working on ChEffect. Try to get this something usable. So, cheers everybody.